Hey up, how are we? Bit of a interesting one here. I told you that I was doing something very different, as you can see. Welcome to Harry Potter Forbidden Forest Experience, Belgium, just outside of Brussels. This is the site, and I'm head of lighting for this site for about 4 weeks. Fly home for Christmas, and then back again for 2 weeks, and then Sister Act again. So listen, funnily enough, I'm very ill right now. I've come to turn the site on, and then I'm actually going home to rest because I don't want to burn myself out, and it's absolutely freezing here. So I don't want to burn myself out, especially with 4 weeks to go. I just want to get myself better. There is a little bit of a bug going around on this site anyway, so I don't want to spread anything, don't want to catch anything else. So yeah, I'm going to go, and I'll speak to you in a bit, and you know, it's going to be on a different day because I'm going home. So yeah, I hope you enjoy the next few videos. I think they'll be quite exciting and quite fun. Yeah, I'm going to rest because I'm not good. Alright, I'll speak to you in a bit. Hey up, welcome back. This is the day after I filmed the intro to yesterday's video. So I'm still feeling fairly ropey, let's say. But I'm here, you know. There's not really a lot you can do when you're in Belgium or a different country and you're hired to do a job, because you kind of have this balance in your head of like, listen, if I was at home and this was any other job, I would probably be off because, you know, it's just the way it is. But I got hired to be here, so I kind of have to be here, and you kind of feel like you have to be here all the time, no matter whether you're ill or, you know, whatever's going on in your life. Anyway, that's just a bit of an insight into... there was a really interesting poll. I'm just going to go on a bit of a tangent now while we're walking, and then I'll explain what we're doing today. There was a poll a few weeks ago, and Craig actually brought it up to me. And it was basically a debate about how we feel like we're being treated in the industry, and how there's this show must go on kind of like mentality. And it's really interesting because, unfortunately, the way it's actually happened is people are not taking their health seriously because they think that the show always must go on. It's exactly like me. I've just done exactly the same thing. Should I be in today? Not really. Do I feel like really, really poorly? Yeah. However, if I don't come in, I have this guilt hanging over me, and it's not what anyone said or anyone's done, it's just the way we are as a industry, you know. I don't know, it's a bizarre one. Let me know what you think about the whole show must go on mentality, and how should we allow ourselves to take time for ourselves and heal when we're not feeling too good? I think so. But is it really hard to do? AKA me being in today. Yeah, really hard. Anyway, let me show you what we're doing today. So, what is Harry Potter Forbidden Forest Experience? So we did the first Harry Potter Forbidden Forest Experience last year, just outside of Warrington. Everyone says Manchester, but it's not. A place called Arley Hall. And it was like mega, right? And I was head of lighting. I had a deputy and a number 3. There was a head of sound, you know, head of video, all that kind of stuff. And what is it? So they came up with this idea, and the idea was that you would walk through a forest, and it would have things that in the Harry Potter franchise you'd see in the forest, but it all had to relate to the Forbidden Forest. So, well, I mean, I've never really watched Harry Potter, so I can't really tell you what is the Forbidden Forest, but I just know it's a very scary forest. And it's full of magical creatures and beings, and essentially production have come together. I'm saying production because it's a whole experience, and made this real, made this, and my hand's really achy, made this kind of experience happen and real. And you know, you can look like you're doing magic, and you know, you can look like you're casting spells and making things happen, and that's all done by sound, video and lighting. And obviously on top of that, as you just see behind me, you know, it's also like a I don't want to say a walk in the park, because that means two things, but it's like a walk round. So there's like that's halfway where you can buy butterbeer and, you know, all that kind of stuff. And from what I remember, bear in mind, like, we were the OG original gangster unit that did it the first time. Like, it had never really been done before. And we, like I said, we were like the first ones to do it. So we were like blown away by it. Let's just say it was absolutely, let's not say I'm not blown away by it now, but it was incredible, right? And there was a lot going on, a lot of stuff happening, and we were the forefront of it when we started it. And then this year they decided to do multiple. So there's, I believe there's one here in Belgium, there's one back at Arley Hall in Warrington, there's two in America, then I think next year they're doing even more. And listen, it's a great project, everyone's really nice, everyone's good, and yeah, that's essentially what Forbidden Forest is. You know, it's a walk in the forest based around Harry Potter. So yeah, that's a little bit of that was a long-winded way to say what it was, but the more you know, the easier this will all be. So let me get back to you in a bit. I've got to climb this hill, and I'll explain to you what I'm doing and what my process is today. The Harry Potter site is essentially split up into different zones, right? So you can either number those zones, or you can give them, you know, their content's name. So for example, we're just about to walk through Aragog, which is the big spider. So we call this the Aragog section, or I don't know, you can make up a number, call it zone 4. So behind me there, they're the big generators that run each section. And then attached to those generators, which we're about to walk past, and I'll take you into one in a second, we call rack rooms. And in theory, what the rack rooms do are, you know, supply power and data to the areas. They feed from a power lock system from the generators. Sometimes they might go through, sometimes they might be direct, but essentially that's what it is. So that's how we power each site and each destination. So essentially the rack rooms are stored here, and they're just a little green shed like this, and we obviously have a key to open them, which obviously I picked the wrong one, so the key opens them up like that. You go in, and like you'd see in all the theatre shows and what I do, this is just our rack room. Now the way it's set up here is, all we need to trip on is anything in pink, okay? So all this stuff just needs to be tripped on. Everything else stays on. Cool. So, usual theatre stuff, just trip them on. We seem to have an issue on these two lines here, so I'll have to go and have a look at them. They could be spare ways that aren't being used, and I just got a bit of water in them, and that's why them two are tripping. But yeah, that's it for this room, and there's only 3 of them. Now this is mental, because when I did it last year, we were turning every single trip off and then power lock. So, you know, it's certainly changed and developed, which is really good, right? So that was obviously like one of the rack rooms. So what I was doing there, I was going around, I'd put everything into rig check, and I was turning things on as I was going around. So now let's talk about control, and I'll go into more detail about this, but this is just a quick overview of the site. Control. 1 TI desk, incredible. Last year we had 8 MA3s. So this is just a centralized control, and every site is linked up to it. Every area of the site is linked up to it. Put it into rig check, goes into rig check. Put it into show, goes into show. You have every bit of control that you possibly need from one location. Sorry about the room, it's a bit echoey. I'm just in the digs at the minute. So, as you know, and from these clips, I got flown out to Brussels to head of lighting for Harry Potter Forbidden Forest Experience Brussels. And that's something that I did last year, and I was really looking forward to do this year. However, I'm not very well, and I explained that in the clips that you've just seen, and it's really chesty, and it's like blocking my nose, and it's sinus blockage, and all that kind of horrible wintry stuff. However, with me being type 1 diabetic, as much as I joke about being diabetic, and I do because for me that's an icebreaker, as bizarre as that sounds, I have to be really careful with myself. I can't push myself too much, otherwise I burn out really easy, and I get what I call ketones. If you don't know what ketones are, Google them. But essentially what they are is just really bad stuff for diabetics. And I've been there, and you get to the level of intensive care, and it gets fairly serious, and that can literally stem from just being ill like this, and it not being looked after and treated, and the road to recovery as quickly as you can. So I'm filming this video now, the day before I fly home. So I've had to cancel my job in Brussels about 3 weeks early, which I'm heartbroken about, because me as a professional, that goes against everything that I think I should be doing. And me as someone who likes to keep people happy and please people, I just feel like I've upset a million people making this decision. However, the one person who is very important, and the one person who I've done this for, is me. I've pulled myself away from this job because of me, because I wasn't happy, because I wasn't healthy, and because I need to recover for my future, you know. I come straight off this and go straight back up on tour with Sister Act. And if I'm not well enough to do that, then for the sake of 3 weeks, I could potentially lose 4 months worth of work, you know? I've got to make that call. I've got to give myself time to heal. I've got to give myself time to think. Because I'm human, right? And I'm not a robot. And, you know, non-stop, I've been going in this working kind of business, and for a long time, without really a break, you know, and the breaks I do get, I'll pick up work here and there and do a day here or a day there, and that's not healthy. I think it's important to put in this video this little clip and explain why, because I feel like there's too many people out there, and I explained this in the clip earlier, which is the show must go on. And again, essentially, that means that no matter what you're going through in your life, whether you're ill, whether you've got family issues, or whether you've got money issues, or, you know, you've lost your arm and your eyeballs popped out, or whatever it may be, everyone has this mindset of the show must go on. No matter what, the show must happen. And I agree. There is more money in a show not happening than if you were to leave, or, you know what I mean? Like, if you were to, there'd be more, issues in cancelling a show rather than getting a new person in for a day just to make sure you were okay. But for some reason, we don't really see it like that. We just see it as we work in a very niche market, and without a handover and this and that, and without correct structure in a team, you're going to struggle to find a person to come and replace, say, me. However, that can't be the case anymore. We're in a world where there are more people suffering with mental health than ever at the minute. We're in a world where people feel like they're not being listened to, and they're not being, their problems aren't being addressed properly. We're in a world where all we are is money orientated at the minute. A lot of people lost a lot of passion for their job, me possibly included. because we just think about the money, because that's all the world currently, that's what currently runs the world, is the money side of things. And me making this decision for me to walk away from this job is a very big one. And it's not something which I took lightly, and I'm already regretting it. Even though I shouldn't, why should I be regretting it? Why should I regret a decision that I've had to make because I'm not well? Chris Pearson is not well. I'm struggling to stand on site for 12 hours in what has been the past week in -5 conditions, walking around the site in freezing cold conditions. I'm not well. I'm not well enough to do that. And why should I feel guilty about that? I don't know. And it's not what people have said. It's not what, the company has turned around to me and said. Everyone's been really lovely about it. Everyone is really understanding about it. But I feel like us as professionals, we struggle with making that decision. Anyway, yeah, I'm gutted. Harry Potter is still in my head. So if you've got any questions, like how we run the site and how it works, which is how I was going to show you on video, then ask away, and I'll see if I can just tell you how we do it rather than show you. Don't forget, I did it for 4 months last year, right? So I know the ins and outs of the sites fairly easily. So I fly back tomorrow. That's it. And I'm going to take some few weeks off for myself and for my head, for my body, and hopefully I'll be on the mend. I apologise, and yeah, hopefully there's a few people watching this who might be coming in this situation in their life where they've taken a high-end professional job and they might have to walk away from it for reasons. It's totally cool. It should not be a worry. You've got to put yourself first, you've got to put your health first, and if we don't, we'll all end up dead in 5 years, So yeah, I'm heartbroken, I'm gutted, but I'm getting on a flight tomorrow.